Welcome back to another reaction for the Warrior Princess and the Barbarian King episode 2. So the question is, what happened? Why is he naked next to you? I assume she would know something happened, right? I mean, you just have to draw your own sword, right? Defend yourself. I do wonder, did something happen, or is he just sleeping next to her because she's going to be his wife and, you know, it's normal to sleep in the same bed, but nothing really happened? Question is more, what are you doing here? Because it's normal to sleep nude, I guess. Maybe it's like, why would I sleep in my armor?
朝からかしましいの。昨晩のあれがあったりしては元気で。
What?
結構。
昨晩のあれ。
Really?
覚えていないが思い出したくない。というか貴様、昨日無理強いはしないと言っていたはずでは。
ま、細かいことは良いではないか。
What's up?
乙女の純血をさまつごと扱いするな、このけだものが。というか待て、蛮族の捕虜になっただけでも家名の名折れなのに、奴の子をハラミでもしたら祖国の敵を生み増やすことに。今すぐ私を切れ。
なぜにそうなる？
Why would he ever do that? If you want to get rid of yourself, do it yourself. Why would he do that? Also, what really happened? The only way something could happen that she does not remember is some kind of maybe drink, drug, whatever. So I'm assuming nothing happened. He's just sleeping in his bed. He's sleeping naked because why would he sleep in his armor? Doesn't make sense. It's not very comfortable. And she just was sleeping there as well.
わしを切ろうとするならともかく、何故死にたがる？
貴様にはわかるまい。戦で負けて生き始め。
Can we stop with showing him off like that? He's still naked, standing, and she's on her knees. I mean,
手をさらし、挙句の果てに丸腰の相手に逆上し切りかかるなど、騎士の誇りにもとる行為ならば、これ以上面目が立たなくなる前に、いっそ一思いに殺してくれと言っているのだ。
それはまた難儀なことだの。
難儀だと？
難儀に決まっておろうが、面目や生き恥ごときで死なねばならんのか？
ごとき、面目や生き恥ごときと言ったか。貴様ら蛮族にとってはごときでも、その誇りだけが貴族の。
お着替え乾きましたよ。後遺症なく目覚めたんですね。
they all make it sound like stuff was happening. I feel like she would know if she got impaled, you know. I feel like, as she is alluding to that, it could potentially have her somewhat sore.
運がいい。
は？
昨日ベイオル様が外から戻られた後、
Also, I feel like that she would be the one that is aggressive for some reason.
戦場で捕らえた際の眠りの飛躍が少しばかり多量で急にゲロ吐いてぶっ倒れたんですからね。
あれには冷や汗をかいたぞ。
倒れたって、それは昨晩のあれとはそのこと？
いやすまぬ。つい日頃のわしらの分量で使っての麻痺毒の一種ゆえ大事を取って部屋で寝かせた。
麻痺毒？
血の巡りを遅くもするから止血薬にもなるな。
Interesting. Makes it good for helping wounds close. So it does have a sleeping side effect if you use enough, but it's also a combat medicine. Interesting. I mean, it makes sense. I mean, it makes sense from what my assumption would be, because he seems to be all about fighting. Maybe this whole group is like, if we fight, we want to have a good fight. So being able to stay at least awake, it's like, okay, if I'm going to die, I want to die while fighting. I want to fight until I am dead. I don't want to fall unconscious because I lost too much blood, too many injuries. I want, the best scenario would be likely impaled by a sword and dying, instead of lying in the dirt and slowly withering away. I feel that is my assumption, what they would consider more or less honor, or what they want out of a fight, which may be wrong. Also, it seems like the assistant here is totally fine with him being naked all the time. Why is she not his bride? Or maybe she is. It may be one of those, I have one wife, but I have a bunch of concubines because I'm the strongest kind of deal.
寝かせた。
麻痺毒？
血の巡りを遅くもするから止血薬にもなるな。
つまり何もしてないと？
薬量を少々間違えた以外はな。嫁にすると言ったそばから死なれては困るわ。
紛らわしいわ！剣をよこせ！叩き切ってやる！
それだけ元気なら心配ないな。朝毛の支度も無駄にならずに済みそうだ。
朝毛？
うん。戦場より丸一日は何も食っておらんのだ。腹もすくだろう。今で待っておるから落ち着いたら来るがいい。
待て！
I also don't understand how she is so demanding. You got defeated, you are a prisoner. You either have to accept what happens to you, or you try to get out of this situation by running away, if possible, or by forfeiting your life, one way or another.
まさか騎士であるこの私が蛮族に囲われるなど。おじい様。
孫のお前に頼まれて俺の剣を教えたが天品がありすぎた。男だったならせめて騎士を諦められればどれだけ幸せであったことか。
セラフィーナ、縁談をまた保護にしたのか。女の身で騎士でいたいなど一体いつまでわがままを言う気だ。筆頭騎士の箔付けならもう十分だ。既得なもらい手のあるうちに嫁げ。剣で祭りごとは動かん。
兄様。
Which is not right. The sword has changed policy a lot of times. It is never really a safe change. It follows a lot of bloodshed. But changes have been made with the sword.
そなたの剣筋は実にまっすぐであったぞ。一目惚れするほどに。
Also, really fascinating that their whole idea is we want to marry knights, female knights, instead of going for someone else. I do wonder, maybe the other woman girl, I don't remember, is from the tribe itself.
今さら特に磨いてもいない女を求められても困るって困るってなんだ困るって
What? I've paid so little mind to my femininity. The last thing I need is to suddenly be desired for it. You really? Because you have long hair, good skin, good figure. I don't know. It feels like you did care somewhat.
困るってなんだ困るって
It may also be your mates and whatnot that cared more about your femininity and how you look like.
相手は蛮族で私は今奴らの捕虜それ以上でも以下でもないそう捕虜の浅毛など最低限の餌を与えられる程度に違い
Sure, but you are also supposed to be his wife, so... Additionally, for a prisoner of war, you don't seem like one. You are not chained, like at the not beginning, but in the first episode where you were chained inside a cell. Now you are neither, so you could technically just run away.
ない自尊心をくじくには食事という
I'm assuming you are not really being treated like a prisoner of war.
からな騎士として粗末な行軍職に親しんだ身を甘く見るなよ統制の対価ラビ
Military rations are not the worst.
ラントに連なるものの大貴族の意地を見せてやる
おお来たかセラ
お
さあ座れ
肉だとなんだこの脂の乗った肉は我が家でもそうそういや
It's giant. So I totally forgot their whole kingdom has a drought and famine. So there's not a lot of food. And if there's not a lot of food, greenery or whatnot, then there's also not a lot of meat. It feels like fish would still be fine though.
土地の痩せた我が祖国では決してお目にかかれないほどの
西の女戦士が食べる量は今一つわからぬが四半分もあれば足りるだろう
I'm sure a quarter should suffice. A quarter of that thing seems a little bit too much.
四半分って私の銅よりあるんじゃないかこれはなんだ何の目的でこれほどの大軍を
どうした食わんのか
そうか分かったぞ貴様の魂胆かような贅沢をさせて騎士の心根をくじきいずれ私を飼いならそうとする腹積もりだなはともかく蛮族の施しなど受けるくらいなら
It's not going to hold long this
足
conversation.
を選ぶぞここ一番でなるか私の腹の虫殺せ
それは
Yeah, a little bit too much. You have a knife there. You know.
口癖なのか
Maybe it's not honorable to add your own life. I could see that.
腹が鳴るなら体はまだ生きたいと言っておるそれでも食わぬは己
He is right. If your stomach still yearns for food, it means your body wishes to go on living. I believe there are cases where the body just gives up and is not really following the normal procedure anymore. Like trying to get food. Because the body's like, yeah, it's over, we don't really need to. But I'm not sure. However, it feels like this would be something that should be a good indicator. The same as in Apothecary Diaries, where Mao Mao was feeding someone who was weakened. By them swallowing the food, they more or less showed that they wanted to continue living. There are people that don't even do that anymore. And they more or less have given up. Which is... it's a thing.
それでも食わぬは己に嘘をつくのと何も変わらぬ。何よりこの肉として駆られた命も報われぬ。遊びではなく生きるために命を奪うは道理である。そちらの理屈とて大元はそうであろう。まあなんだ。いいからしのごの言わずに食え。うまいぞ。
この笑顔。
So, who is this? Really? It seems like she has she's next to the Barbarian King, so she has to have some kind of good standing.
なんだはしため。
僭越ながらベイオル様は当然だと思っておっしゃりません。
Is this food increasing blood flow and stuff? Is it like turtle meat?
がこの獲物、あなたを歓迎するためにわざわざ飼ってきたものです。
歓迎？
昨日あなたを連れてきた後、目覚めた時には地層を食わせてやろうと単身で狩りを。ベイオル様は名も実もあるお方、西でいう王族のようなものですよね。
まあ大族長とやら着手なら王子と言えるか。
Is he the chief? Or son of a chief? I feel like he should the chief himself.
その方があなたをもてなすため礼を尽くして獲物を飼ってきました。無下に断るのは貴族として無作法なのでは？
いいだろう。そこまでの礼儀に応えぬのは確かに騎士の名折れ。だがもしつまらぬものをいや
At least we have someone who knows how to handle her. Because the Barbarian King, he seems to be very blunt and to the point. Doesn't really care about all the stuff, nobility and surroundings. So it's good that the one on at his side is able to coax our princess to do... I mean, she's not really a princess, right? Whatever. To do or to follow... in this case, eat, I guess. But I feel like she is going to be very important to get her to settle down and follow the way the barbarians are doing things.
柔らかな肉質と溢れる肉汁。独特の癖がありながらそれを風味と感じさせる圧倒的な旨味。ビルドレンでは
Shouldn't this meat be really gamey? Because it's a monster you hunted that looked like it was a predator?
おそらく王族でも食べることは不可能。贅沢すぎる。
どうだ、うまかろう。
It also begs the question, what are they eating if he doesn't go out hunting? I assume they just eat some kind of soup with a little bit of meat, some vegetables.
確かにこれほどのものを出されて文句は言えん。貴様の嫁になるかはともかく、薬の一件は水に流してやっていい。
それなら結構。
それにしても美味だが、何の肉だこれは。
見るか？
お、
血抜きともつ抜きは山で済ませたが、肉は裏庭で解体中だ。気になるならそこの窓から見られるぞ。
I mean, it looked like a wyvern or something.
知りたい。その生物、もしも祖国で繁殖。
Sure, you could domesticate the animal, monster, whatever. You don't have anything to feed it. So how do you expect them to grow and stuff?
不可能なら、あるいは
この辺り
Unless it was a fish.
では割とよく取れる生物でな。なお、竜という。
It's a literal dragon, okay. I assumed it would be like a wyvern. No, it's a dragon, okay. Yeah. Good luck. Domesticating it. Growing more of them. Now, if you can do that, and then you can, I'm assuming dragons can fly and stuff, and you could use them as your horses. You could have some very strong animals. Monster. Which part?
竜の肉なのか？
うん。
伝説上の空を飛ぶ怪物。
西ではそうらしいな。
皮膚袋があるとか、身には毒があると伝わっている竜が。
どちらもいるが種類が違うな。のうセラ、それはそれとして食べる速度は。
She's never going to eat this again at this point, so why not? I still question which part of the dragon we are eating. Because the dragon, I mean, it has a whole tail. I don't know if that is good in some way. I'm assuming it's just a typical breast part we are eating.
落ちんな。
いや、その美味なものは美味なものだし。
当面死ぬ気は失せたっぽいですね。
I also hope that we get to know some of the other people here. We saw a couple cleaning out the dragon. There's probably like someone, some right-hand man, maybe some leader of some group, maybe someone promising new guy. I also wonder, we have her, we have our princess. Where are all the women? I mean, at this point we have not seen much. But I wonder, is there like a division? Women are part of, I don't know, the village at some part, and they do all the womanly stuff, whatever that may be. And the men are in a different part, or do we have families living together like these two and more or less mixed? I wonder how this is being done. I also wonder how the other people marry the knights. Because, again, he's like female knights. What they want to marry. It feels like they want to marry some strong woman, which does make sense. Because strong parents equals strong children. Strong makes right kind of thing, okay? But I wonder if they also try to court the knights like he does with her. Because he could use force But it seems like he does not want to. And I do wonder if the other ones are similar.
外に出られるだと。
裏手の山に見せたいものがあってな。なんだ、竜が蜂の巣を食ったような顔をして。
Why would a dragon swallow a wasp nest? Unless they like honey. But even then.
その言葉、そうやすやすと鵜呑みにできるはずがなかろう。
信用ならんと？
当たり前だ。捕虜になってまだ2日目だぞ。いや、日数の問題とかではなく、奇怪な生物の住む土地を歩くなど常識的に考えてもありえんだろう。
常識と言われてもな。ところ変われば常識も変わる。生物や文化の違いもまあその一つだな。
What? I mean, I'm just wondering in the grand scheme, because the whole reason why she got imprisoned here is because her kingdom decided to go in the direction of the barbarians, and they want to claim new land that is fertile and not affected by the drought, famine kind of thing. Now, I don't know if they have some other valuables they could trade, maybe gold, iron, whatever may be the case, because it does not feel like the barbarians would be unwilling to potentially trade. Now, it would mean the kingdom would have to have something to trade. But if they do, which I'm not sure of, trading with a barbarian seems like a pretty solid option. Especially because if they really like female knights, you could have those marry into the barbarians. This way you strengthen connections and whatever. Yeah, it feels like it would be a good idea. Maybe the barbarians don't want to, which could be the reason why they tried attacking. Or the kingdom is just like, hey, we don't need to bow down to some nomads. We are just going to take their land because fuck you, I guess.
それともなんだ、怖いのか？
まったく、貴様の口車に乗せられた気がしないでもないが、くれぐれも勘違いはするなよ。私は貴様らに心を許したわけでは。
Why do we have why is a basket? One of the two. Why? Are we going shopping?
ないのだからな。
分かっておる。だが、それでもこの地を見ればきっと気に入るぞ。
何を根拠に？
根拠などない。わしの勘だ。勘。
Did she ever say thanks for the meat? I don't believe so. He went out of his way to hunt a little monster called Dragon for you to eat some delicious meat. You know? A little bit of gratitude would be nice. It's green. Yay. Huh. Is that a lake? Or an ocean? I mean, it's probably big enough to fish in, which should be less affected by stuff like famine. But interesting that we set it down near the lake. I wonder why. Maybe they do have like a fishing industry. We do have some wooden walkways. I don't see any fishing boats necessarily.
どうかしたのか？
いや、想像以上に自然豊かな恵まれた地なのかと。
I find it very distracting that you can't see her cleavage. Just saying.
私は荒野にも等しい彼氏だが、この地本来の息吹はとても力強い。驚きすぎて腰が抜けるといいが。
バカにするな。この蛮族め、竜とこの景色は不意打ちゆえだ。何を見せる気か知らないが、心構えをすればそうそう驚くもの。
He probably is just going to show you the village slash city that he's living in. It looked very civilized. It also does not look like a nomad kind of civilization. So I would expect trade, different kinds of products like maybe pottery, stuff out of steel or iron. A lot more advanced than I probably assumed.
生き物も豊か。
竜はこちらではどこにでもいる獣の一つだ。彼は手強いが、古竜のいる巣に近づかなければ人に構わんしな。
そんな簡単に馴染めるものか。
ここで暮らせばなれよう。第一、今朝あれだけうまそうに食べてたではないか。
肉は空を飛ばない。
鳥とそう変わらぬさ。
Amanai's meat was standing, though.
何の音だ。
Waterfall? Raging river?
これは滝？初めて見た。
どうだセラ、西では見られん景色だろう。
それは嫌味か。私の祖国にもこれくらいの
Yeah, it has the dust and sand and dead plants.
景観はないな。
I do wonder what is really going on. Why do they have such a big problem? Is it maybe because upriver someone blocked the water flow? I wonder, because she clearly likes her home country, kingdom. They tried to attack the barbarians, it didn't work out. She's now here. She's going to become part of this tribe, whatever you want to call it. And I'm assuming that they then go to the south and deal with whoever is there responsible for the kingdom having this downturn. I feel like this is where we go with the story.
別に自慢をしたいわけではないぞ。
This also looks like a fantastic place to shower.
ただ、そなたにこの景色を見せたいと思っただけだ。さてと、ここに来た目的はもう一つある。
I feel like you are going to be washed.
もう一つ。
まず最初に脱げ。
Is she also undressing? She is.
なぜにそうなる。
なぜだと？水。
Also, the assumption is it's a girl, but it is anime. There is still the potential that it turns out that we have a second sword.
場で男女が服を脱いですることは一つ。
まさか
水浴びだ。
いちいち含みのある言い方をするな。なんとなく分かってはいたけれど、だいたいなんで男女の区別なく沐浴するのか、ハレンチな。
ハレンチと言われてもそういう文化としか言えんな。郷に入りては郷に従えと言うだろう。
I mean, sure. That means that he's not really interested in what she looks like. And generally the people here don't really care about, I mean, gender is probably still, but not as much. And again, it is an interesting idea. I don't know if there are a lot of people that would be totally fine with mixed bathing. I know there is some culture, or not culture in specific type of like French or whatever, but there's like a culture that does accept more or less not skinny dipping, but they are totally fine with everyone being naked around each other. So the main point was, before my brain went into the wrong direction, that he is really just interested in her fighting. As he was saying, something in the way she fought was what he was attracted to, instead of necessarily her body.
そんな晩秋に従うわけがあるか。
おお、怖い怖い。
少し匂いますね。こちらには浴場なんて文化はありません。
Excuse me? What? Because that sounded exactly like Mao Mao. That was insane how much that sounded like Mao Mao. That is the wrong character? Question mark? That is the right character. Ichikawa Hana. Interesting. Not seen too many of these.
少し匂いますね。こちらには浴場なんて文化はありません。
But this part sounded like Mao Mao. The part before that, not really.
少し匂いますね。
But this part really close.
こちらには浴場なんて文化はありません。昨日塗った香油にも限界があります。もう少し放置すれば悪臭に。
まったく。
Again, she seems to be a girl. She's able to maneuver our princess in the way that is to the benefit of the chief Barbarian king, I guess, if you want to call him that. The same with the meat. She was the one maneuvering her. Also, from the very beginning, she was the one keeping her under control, getting her to do what is in the best interest of not only the barbarian guy, but also herself. Because if she starts smelling probably not good, being then introduced to a lot of people via being smelly.
貴様も貴様だ。男の前で何のてらいもなく脱ぎ出して。
そうは言っても慣れってものがありますからね。あなたが嫌がるからベイオル様は別の沢に行かれましたし、私があなたの付き添いという形です。
逃げ出さぬよ
I also assume she's super strong.
うに見張っているのだろうが。
The biggest part is, even if you were to run away, they could just catch you again. So, they are not really worried about you running away.
いえ、強いて言うならあなたの安全のためですかね。
安全のため。
Magic towel.
沢岩尾、こんなのがいますから。ね。
ではないわ。
まあこの場にいる彼らはおとなしいものばかりですけど。
ああ、今の言い方、まるで怪物に囲まれているような物言いだ。
You saw dragons flying around. Also, why is your towel so small and hers is so big? You can't drape it around. You can't even hide yourself. Also, in her case, I would just submerge myself, go real fast, clean myself, dry myself, be on my way.
そう言っているんですが。
What the fuck? That is so trippy.
あ、そっちは。
That's exactly where the spring is, where he went to.
まあ別にいっか。
思わず飛び出してきてしまったが。
Respect?
思わず飛び出してきてしまったが、服も靴もあそこに置いたままはさすがに無謀か。気は進まんが戻って。着替えるか。
Why are we even hiding? He had like a sort of light. Can't she just have two little sheets of light? Why use the hair?
しまった。私以外にも誰かが。殺せ。
I do wonder again how the other barbarians are like.
意外と理性的なあのベイボルと違って本物のけだものが来たら私は。来るな。
何故こんなところに。
Are you really? You know it's the same guy. Come on.
蛮族の若い戦士、なんという美丈夫。西方にもこれほどの男前は。貴様、こっちをジロジロと見るな。
もしやその格好、滝で水浴び中に獣でも出たか？
Why did the voice change? Why did the what? I feel like the voice went from I'm so awesome and big warrior to I'm a young fellow.
我が母も西の元戦士。似たような話を聞いたことがあったのでな。母が来た当初は自然の豊かさ、獣の多さに驚いていたと幼き頃に聞かされた。
To be honest, your kingdom sucks. Even at that time, it didn't have much going on. How did it even get so big in the first place?
この男の若さからして16時統制。20年ほど前の女騎士が母？
Did your mom die? imagine her mom is his mom. Unlikely. Would be insane though.
くそ、さすがに冷えるな。
By the way, you did not wash yourself, so you should probably do that. I mean, you can ask for his help, rubbing your back or whatever.
何を。
まったく女子が体を冷やすものではない。そなたの服が置いてある場所まで戻ろう。しばしその上着を使うがいい。
シンシカ西方騎士の鏡のような男がこんなバンチに。いや、開口一番嫁になれとか言ってくるベイオルが異常なだけか。
Oh, so not only did he wash, he groomed himself, I guess. Still, the voice is quite a bit different.
開口一番嫁になれとか言ってくるベイオルが異常なだけか。
大丈夫か。熱があるのか。
近い
顔も赤くなっておる。
いかん。男性経験がなさすぎてどうしたらいいか全くわからん。
本当にまずいな。山を降りるのも辛そうに見える。仕方がない。体に触れるが許せ。はい。そなたは羽のように軽いな。
もうこれどうしよう。自分でもちょろいと思うくらい抵抗できないや。
よし、行こうか。
やっと見つけました。いい雰囲気のところ申し訳ないのですけれど、何をどうしたらそんなことになるんですかね、ベイオル様。
ベイ。
なんだ、気づいておらんかったのか。求婚した手前寂しくもあるが。わしがひげを剃っただけで乙女のように赤面するとは。
At least he is acknowledging it. There would be a lot of characters, my characters, who would be unable to identify this. So at least we have someone who is not an idiot.
不武なやつだの。不安定な姿勢からこの平手。さすがわしの見込んだ女子よ。
ものすごい赤くなってますが大丈夫ですか。
私が剣を持っていたら決闘ものだ。第一こうなったのも貴様があの怪物の巣窟に連れて行ったからだろう。
ああ、
I feel like everything is a den of monsters.
それなら問題ありませんでしたよ。
はあ、
厄介な獣が出そうな場所はベイオル様が巡回してくださってましたから。
そなたが肌を見られるのを嫌がっておったからな。最初はそばで守るつもりであったが。
今朝食べた酔いとばりに比べれば沢の獣はおとなしいものばかりですし。
あの竜は危険なやつだったのか。
なんということはない。気性は少々荒いが基本は。
I feel like though that your approach is not what other people would call normal. You're talking about dragons as if they're cowardly, but maybe that is only because you are so strong. It feels a little bit like you are a hero of these parts.
臆病だからな。
ベイオル様だから言えることです。果実食の竜とはいえあの大きさの獣が危険。
They're herbivores, huh? I would say attack a beehive then.
危険じゃないはずないでしょ。
それは否定せんが。今日は惚れた女子の多様な顔を見られた。その対価ならば安いものだ。
今回は特別に許してやる。景色だけは悪くなかったからな。だが2度目はないと思え。
それなら結構。わしも嫁子が寛大と知れて誠に有意義であった。
だから勝手に嫁などと決めるな。
この後に及んでですか。
なんだその哀れみの目は。まったく。 本当にとんでもない目にあったが、まあひげのない顔なら見れなくもないと知れたか。本当に少しだけだがな。
Okay. So we did not go to the other houses. We did not get to join anyone else to see what they are like, I guess. At least not yet. Also, I wonder if there's going to be another fight going on. This is going to be interesting how they deal with conflict from outsiders. Like, maybe the kingdom attacks, maybe they have other people, other neighbors that want to attack. How do they deal with that? Do they set out as all the guys as warriors, or as something else?
だが
Oh,
なぜだ。
yeah, why? You have seen that she likes you without a beard. So it's a little bit weird that you don't try to keep it that way. So we still have a bunch of other potential characters to meet, like all of these. We have Fairy here. We have nothing going on here. I assume a little dwarf. So here we have the whole group, all female, it seems like. Is that a mimic? It looks like a mimic. And then we have an elf guy. I do hope we get to see a little bit more about the other people, a little bit more about the barbarians, how they behave, what their culture is like, what do the other warriors do for trying to marry knight ladies. What about conflict? How is that going to be resolved? There could be a lot of interesting stuff coming.